Okay. Well, we're gonna start this. Looks like the test works, so that's good. Right now, the nickname is Too Fast to Dustmere. I don't know if that's what we're gonna stay with, but it is that is what we're going with. And so far, we're using placeholder art so I can get everything done. Today's stream is going to be me making the character. So I am going to make the character art today on the stream. And then I just need a break from doing the code and setting it up. But we do have the core game loop in place. The idea is that, I think these are, yeah, I can walk through those. You have this cargo ship that you've got to protect. It's going to be top down right now. It's in the third person, but it will be top down. And then you're going to have these little AI monsters that chase you and try to attack you and your cart. So you have to get rid of them. Blah, 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 blah. Easy day. And then whenever it gets to a station, then it will do an upgrade. And then that upgrade will allow you to like do some stuff that's based off the currencies you have. And then there'll be like little stations like this that, you know, you can get other things from. But the point is that's kind of the gameplay loop is you spawn in, we'll have some kind of cutscene where it's like, and your cargo thing lands, crashes, or things fall down, and then your cargo starts. It's like, oh, we got to get over to our location. And so it follows the spline path. Follows the spline path all the way to the end. And then once it gets to the end, there'll be like a 2-minute hold time. It should take from here all the way to the end. It should take a total of 8 minutes, giving you 2 minutes at the very end to chill and kind of go through everything. But we have to play and see from there. So we'll go from there as we get cooking. But first, we have to make some characters. That's what we got to do. So I need to create the character, make sure the character looks good, matches what I'm trying to do. And yeah, we'll be good. Okay, so let's get to making. I have a generalized concept for what I want this to look like. Yeah, I have a general concept of what I'm going for. Hard surface has always been kind of difficult for me, but again, it should be interesting to see how this works. So we're gonna make it as cute as we possibly can. That's the goal here. It's always cute. We always want to make something cute, you know? Trying to look at the shapes right now. So I think I'm gonna need this and this at a minimum. Because that's gonna go here at a reduced size. And this is definitely gonna be reduced. And it goes back and kind of up. Yeah, like that. I think that's fine there. I have no issues with that, looks like. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, I think we're good. So now we need to do the bevel part. So we grab this, 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 and this. Let's say we bevel that. I mean, I kind of like that. Let's do 0.3. Yeah, okay, there we go. And we need these to be smooth. We're going to do this again and do 0.2. Yeah. And maybe we'll have 2 segments, so it just makes it nice and smoother. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Grab this. And then thickness. Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. And then I'll just merge. What's going on, Curious Ami? How are you? Okay, so that gives us the bevel, right? I'm not... So the problem with this is... I think I beveled too early. I think, yeah. Let's keep it as simple of a shape as we possibly can. I think that's my first mistake, is I beveled just too early. Let's keep it a simple shape. I just watched along some horrors. Yeah, I mean, that can be scary. Hey, that's cool too. Let's do thickness, or no, we'll do offset, right? So we're gonna have a tiny offset here because it's gonna be a lip, and then it's gonna go down because we want it to be recessed. And then we're going to have this come up. And then we'll have it come in like this. And then I can bevel. We are making a robot for the GameJam that I'm making. I need to make a robot here. So that's what we're doing. We're making some robots. Okay. Why didn't that work? Oh, I just got rid of a dock. Hold on. There we go. Let me try back. It's really scary video. You know what along another horror is? It's really scary. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I did not know that. They give you the chills. Well, that's good, I guess. That's what you're going for. Okay. So we have a nice little shape here. Do a similar thing here where we'll just do offset. Maybe come in a little bit more. Hit it again. Have you made a helicopter? I have never made a helicopter. That would be interesting. Okay, so we have our first kind of little setup. Next, we're going to want to create structure for this. I think I want this to come out here. This should come back here. Helicopter feet. What is helicopter feet? Like, do helicopters have feet? I didn't know that. Is that a thing? Where do they get the feet from? Okay, so let me bring this back. Maybe down a little bit. No, sorry. I don't remember. Okay, and then... So this shape is kind of interesting. I like it. And get rid of all that because I don't need that. Yep, there you go. I wanted the character to have helicopter feet. Which character? You gotta remind me. Sorry. Okay, so for this, I think this should go back further. Like, we really want something to have a nice structure. This goes down here. I think this coming in here is probably better. Oh, okay. Okay, so this basically lets me do something like that. So then I can get rid of this plane. I might have some issues with that later on down the road, but for now it's fine. And then here, I'm going to basically bring this down.
I just popped on with a really quick question.
Yeah, man, what's up?
Oop, I didn't realize how low my volume was. How do I properly add the third-person blueprint to a new level? I want to make sure I'm doing it right.
Don't know what that means. You want to add a character
blueprint? Yeah.
So if you go to the editor and then in your world settings, you'll have a game mode override. I think you can just choose like game mode. Because then that'll let you change your pawn and then just choose third person. It should be by default like there. So for example, I have no override and I have the third person character automatically.
Yeah, when I created a player start, but whenever I load it, it has the third person. Well, it has the character model shows, but it wasn't controllable.
Interesting. Did you pull off of one of the levels that I had might have created maybe?
No, I had just kind of created a new one following the process you had talked about last night.
Yeah, I mean that is definitely weird. I'm not sure that's weird. Yeah, so
well,
anyways,
the BP third person game mode.
that
one works.
Yeah, then I was gonna say, as I was about to say, if you default it, you should be able to do it. But I mean, it's just weird that you shouldn't have to override it. But yeah, go ahead. It makes sense. It's better to get it to work than not.
Well, I mean, is third person game mode be like Blueprint the
That's
right game mode override?
That's the generic one right now. So yes, when we go,
it works for now, I guess.
That's what I'm saying, because you're gonna just run in and test the turret, so it doesn't matter. But when we're playing, you'll choose GM default game, and so like for example, if I click that now, I don't have a character anymore because I don't have a default pawn set up for that. So yeah. Anyways, you don't want to pick that.
GM
That's what I'm saying.
default game is the Prologue cam.
Yeah, because I haven't created a character for it yet. That's what I'm.
Okay.
I'm working on that part now. So once I get this model done, I will then create the character, and yeah, we'll do that.
No worries. I needed to get something going so I could start on this.
Yeah, of course, bro.
That should work for now.
Cool. I'm excited to see the turret going.
I'm gonna. What?
I said I'm excited to see the turret going.
Yeah, me too. I was able to whip up the model super quickly. That's why I took the time to do it. I just didn't want to use a random free asset versus something that one of us made.
Well, if you
I know it'll get replaced, but
if you go to the editor, inside of Sci-Fi Worlds,
is there already one?
There is already a turret here. Yeah, you go to meshes. I don't know if that's under props. Let's look.
Sci-Fi Worlds.
Yeah, they have turrets. They got like 5 of them. They got a large turret. You can have a large turret. You can have
yeah, they do.
Double large turret. You can have a rocket launcher, and then I think that's it. Or no, they got a beam cannon.
Cooler than mine.
So, and they should have locations and sockets and everything else. So. You always use those.
All right. Well, I'll pop back in if I have other questions.
No worries, and feel free to just chill as well if you want. See you later, Curious Omni.
Mute.
Yep, that's up to you, buddy. Okay. Jesus. good. Okay. Let me close the editor. Think. Oh, he didn't push yet. Okay, I thought he pushed. Okay, so he did push. Okay, so if I go to what he did, he has a folder. Oh. Their logic is not working. I forgot how to show FPS. Oh, there we go.
I'm adjusting volume. Could you say something really quick?
Yeah.
Yep.
My volume's probably going to be pretty bad because you're getting direct feed from my stuff. That's how it works. So
Yeah, you're really, really quiet. That's why I was asking. I like kept hearing something small like underneath the video.
yeah, you might. I might be a little bit better now, but yeah, it's because it's becoming. Like I said, if I wish that I could pump my OBS into this, but I can't, or at least I don't know how. So I have a bunch of OBS filters on to clean up all background noise and everything else, and I can't. While streaming, I can't make it good. Okay, so 40 frames per second is not great, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, we'll have to do some optimization on the AI, but I think it's good. How many you said there's 100 there?
Yeah.
Not too bad.
And really the optimizations come when they leave the camera, and then when you get further distance away, they keep getting more optimized.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm at 100 FPS right now with 50 of them in there. So, and then I went back to 100 FPS. So that's good. We're gonna have 50. I don't think, again, having 100 is crazy. If that, I mean, if that's maybe that's what we do. I don't know yet, but okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's about a 50% increase in performance just from the 100 that I was seeing.
That's good. Blueprint. I mean, I'm not doing it right now. The logic is pretty unoptimized character AI based. Did you create a child or is this a duplicate?
It's a duplicate right now. Basically, one has the data on it and the only thing that I'm doing right now is hiding the mesh whenever they're off screen.
Yep.
I haven't even optimized it so that they have a dumber AI when they're not being seen or anything like that.
Yeah. So let's do. I'm trying to think of like how crazy we would want this to be. I guess it kind of just depends, right? This is 20. Let me move this to AI. Let's do 40. And let's see what that looks like. So I'm still at 180 FPS. That's not bad. Could be worse. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I think with an NMBP and we reduce that, there's other ways to optimize it with, I think 5.5 has naniting. So you can nanite your skeletal mesh. That's another thing that we can do to optimize and kind of help save out. And maybe I think maybe we might even be able to, it depends on how we do this top down. That's what I'm kind of playing with right now is how far out do I want the camera on the top down to be? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's.
Do you want a quick TLDR on like just the lay of the land of how this plugin works real quick? It'll take like 30 seconds.
Yeah, sure.
Now that I know it. So if you look at the regular AI that you created, it has a new component on it called NPC data. And then in there you kind of set some parameters, but the main thing is that you want to tag whatever you want to not be visible whenever they're off screen and being optimized as with a special tag. If you look at the mesh on that, there's a tag on it called D something or other. The mesh on the optimized AI.
DNPC.
Yeah, look at the mesh itself though. Click on the mesh.
I did. You're delayed.
Oh, okay. Sorry. DNCP. Yes. Sorry. I was not. You're right. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you mark it with that, anything that's marked with that will be handled with their special system for hiding it. And then inside the world, there is a world manager that you can set the rings for how far out each level of optimization is and things like that.
Nice.
So it's pretty simple though. That's all the components you really need for the most basic to work. Then it gives you some events that you can do for like on optimization and on before optimization, so you can like hook into those in your blueprints.
Yeah. So are you looking for something else to do? Because this is kind of
Yeah, I mean this is fine. I mean I think this is without much more knowledge. I think I've done the most basics of what can be done. I think someone else could probably do more with it.
No worries.
So I'm down for whatever else.
Cool. I think the next thing is a spawner. So what I would do is I'd make a BP inside of let's go props folder. I think is fine to put it under. So it should be blueprints and props, and then just create an actor, and then in that actor we're gonna do spawning. Now the things that I would want us to think about, I'll type it out, is basically rate. So how fast max spawn. So basically this is how many should be spawned at once. max
So
alive.
thinking each spawner will keep track of its active spawn, and if we had like 3 spawners, they would each be able to do like a max of 20 or something like that.
So that's what I was about ready to get into. If we set a max spawn, okay, so think about it this way: if you have a max alive, right? Then basically, if I put 5 in there, it would only keep 5 alive. So like you said, it tracks it, right? And then when one dies, it would spawn again, the next one, right?
Gotcha.
Now, one of the other things that you could do is you could have a bool that sets on this being true or false for max alive. And basically, if you turn that on, then max alive is an option that I can do. If you turn that off, then it's infinite spawning for total number alive. That's probably not what we would want to do. Let's just stick with max alive. I think infinite spawn might be beneficial later on down the road, but I can easily add that in. So for now, I think max alive is good. And then the actor to spawn, I think is the other one. So you need to have a reference to the actor that should be spawned.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then
All
rate.
making about composable so that you can like reuse it and just set it as a variable. Gotcha.
Now, give me 2 seconds to just see if there's anything else. Hopefully my project doesn't crash. We'll see. Mestra said he fixed it last night. I don't know if he did or not, though. I modified a bunch of shit, so let me do this real quick. This is my main Gladiator project. Yeah, as soon as Ninja gets on and we get some optimization on that, we'll get some really good stuff moving forward. Okay, so let me open up the level real quick. Where I hate when all my colors from my folders are gone. Makes it finding things so much harder. Oh, I opened up the arena one. Fuck. I haven't opened this one.
You said you wanted a new folder called props and blueprints? Is that what you said?
Nope, it already exists.
Oh. Okay.
If it doesn't exist for you, then that just means I haven't pushed something in the props folder. But yeah, it should be.
Just make sure.
It should be blueprints and then props. So you can just make it if it doesn't exist. Okay. Now, what was I gonna do? I was gonna grab my blueprints and then props, and then I want the spawner. Where is spawner? Here we go. Okay, so this is an example of what the spawner does. It says max total spawned and then max current alive. So max total spawned is a good one if we wanted to change the rate, or not rate, but let's say we wanted the spawner to only ever spawn 1,000. So if you did a max total spawn and it got to 1,000, no matter about the current alive value or whatever else, it would automatically stop spawning at once the max total spawn had been reached.
Sure, makes sense.
So I think having a max total spawn and then max currently alive is a good one. And then what you want to spawn is what you put in there. So I think actor to spawn is like the last thing that we would need. So that way I can choose which actor should basically be spawning. Now in my methodology here, we have a little bit of a different thing kind of set up because we have a spawning director. And the reason why we have a spawning director, which I don't think we need to do, if we have lots of time and you're bored, then maybe we do a spawning director. But the reason why is so that way these spawn points can be controlled by a director and it can send them to random spawn points.
Sure.
I think for now, that's not something we need to do. we can just, like I said, I can control it and say, hey, they spawn from this point, and then we'll have like a nest, mesh or whatever else, or a robot facility, whatever the fuck it is. But yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm going to get my gun model just because it's structured the same as the tutorial gun, and I don't know how to access the gun top of the SK project. Yeah, no worries. That's fine, man. Okay, let's go from there. I need to close this project. I don't need to be in that project anymore. I'll push all the stuff that I modified real quick, because I'm trying not to be in the project right now, so that way you guys have free reign and I can work on the character, making them all cute. I'm trying to debate if I want to do weighting at all. I mean, it's a hard-pointed robot, so I don't think there would be a need for any weighting. I think I can just 100% weight it, which makes it nice and easy. But I think the connection points between, like, the bottom part of the leg and the upper part of the leg, I could probably make, like, a tubing that could be weighted and bended and stuff. So I don't know yet. I guess I'll figure out how I want the animations to look. I can make it look super robot-y if we wanted. Initial art direction is never fun. Okay, I pushed everything so that way you have it all. Now I'm just gonna make some art. Yeah, I think we're doing pretty good on time-wise. As soon as Ninja gets up, he can focus on getting his stuff in play, and then that will really help us out. Okay. I mean, it's pretty performance, so I'm gonna stick with... I'm not gonna go ultra low poly. The more low I go, the better it is for optimization. So maybe 10. Oh shit, that's right. I need to go so I can accurately know how big the arm is. What's up?
Nothing. My AI stopped spawning in for some reason.
Hmm.
I'll figure it out.
Okay, so arm is good. That size is good. Maybe cut some holes in the side of this thing. Definitely in the back area. Crystallium Studios. Hey, how's it going? Sure, look, I am making a character for a game jam. So that way I'm not using Cinti assets. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with Cinti assets, but I don't want to use them, so I'm creating a character so that way I don't have to use them. That way my game loop has my own custom art for it. So that's what we're doing. Yep. That's true. Let's see, this needs to maybe go here. Because the legs are going to come into there. Oh, the crazy part is I'm not used to creating a rig. I haven't created a rig in a while. Ugh, I'm going to have to do rigging by myself again. Ugh. Switch Mark, how are you? And it's good for insanity, so you don't go crazy trying to animate your character. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't have any issues animating. I love it. That's what I love doing. I'm chilling and enjoying life, you know. It's probably too wide. Let's make it a little bit shorter. Let's move the arm back. Just chilling, Switchy. Let's do. How do I want this to look? I don't know. I guess I can do a top bottom cut. It's about as good as it's gonna get, I guess. Not gonna be flawless, but that's okay. And then we said that comes there. So I probably want to pull here. Offset's good. Yeah, there we go. Delete it. And then we're gonna have the same thing on the bottom.
be back in a few.
Yeah, no worries. Still trying to learn how to animate a character. Well, that's the next part. Like I said, you make the model on the mesh first. Once you make the model on the mesh, then you can worry about making the actual animations. But I don't mind that. That part's easy. Okay, so if we wanted to make a very robotic movement, I don't know how I want to frame this, because I can actually cheat this and use like a, I think we just cheat it. I don't give a fuck. Like it doesn't need to make sense. I need to get away from that concept. It doesn't need to make sense. Just needs to be cool. So we're gonna cheat it. Point 2. Yeah. Now, what we should do is we should do something like this. And then use this as my coupler, I guess. And then we can ease in from there. I think that's probably the better option. So width-wise, it's fine. This-wise, it's not. Split the difference. I'll be here to see what you go and you animate. I've been trying to find out if they all show you're doing in the world, and I don't know what is the best method. I think you should do the side blueprint or something. Okay, so I will be here to see where you go in EU to animate. I've been trying to find it, and they all show you doing it in the world, and I don't know if it's the best method. No, you don't want to animate in the world. You want to animate through a blueprint. It's called an animation blueprint, and yes, I will walk you through what that looks like. Not currently right now this second, but I will be doing that, yes. I have to create the object first before I can do animations like that. But yes, I will be going through all of that. Okay, so this gives it a coupler style. Yes, I do not think you should animate in the world, but why all tutorials? Because it's the quick way to do it. So again, the problem with tutorials are they're not meant to be accurate, they're meant to be quick. Like whoever's making the tutorial 9 times out of 10 doesn't care about accuracy, they care about your clicks. So, and that is actually one of the reasons why I absolutely hate tutorials, is that's all they care about. It's very annoying. Okay, so I've halved that. Let's halve this. Okay, so we got ourselves a nice tubing here. I think I probably would add a little bit more here. Maybe 0.2, 0.3. There are a few good ones on YouTube, but I don't good tutorials. Yep, I get you. It's like I said, it's rough for sure. Okay, so we have nice tubing here. Again, this is probably not the best like geo, but the point here is not for having the best geo. The point here is to get it done. We'll get better geo later. If we say that this can never bend, then I don't really care what this looks like. If this can bend, then this is a problem, right? So that's what we need to understand is where is this going to go? Am I only going to allow this to go forward and backwards? If in that case, I don't ever have to worry about, rotating this way or whatever else as a robot would move, then I don't really care about pivot points and things like that. But again, I think that would be a little bit awkward for the player to see, and I'm not a fan of that because, again, we want this to be nice and smooth. So I think the best option is to create something that works. And by working, what I mean is that just allows for the bending and like the normal stuff that you would see from a player. So maybe we get rid of the... Well, I'll just move this over. Because this could bend here for the knee. If we said that this was kind of like tube-based things, this could bend for the knee. And so that's an important thing to kind of think about. The only way he can lower himself, if it was all jointed, the only way he could lower himself is by kind of doing this. And we don't really necessarily want that. I'm trying to think. What does that look like? Okay, so I can create a coupler on the other side that will look good for that. Ugh. What do we do for... What do we do for how I want this to look? I think I'm overthinking it. So this would basically be our robot. With some feet. There's a forward toe, something like that. With 2 back toes. Like that. That's basically what we would get for our player. I think I'm okay with most of this. Maybe this is probably too high. Maybe make that a little bit lower. And then I can pull this down a lot. And I can pull that down.
Do you have any particles or anything like that in the project already?
Yeah. It's underneath depending on what you're trying to do. I think the particles you probably would want to use are in the mech section.
Ah,
I have some bullets and some other things that you might be able to utilize.
right.
Get rid of that.
Yo,
What's up?
just working on the spawner.
Nice. Okay, so we're gonna say that's my arm. It's gonna connect to a regular tube setup. We're gonna say the tube is 10. Okay. So I think that's fine. Okay, so that's the hand. Kind of cute. Needs a little bit of love, but that's cute. Yeah, same size as basically the character. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just need to organize it and make it look pretty. Okay, I'm gonna stop streaming because I need to go take a break, but I will be back later. Thanks everybody who's watched so far. What do we got? An hour, I think. Yeah, we got to stream. So, okay.